Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of my 75 book challenge where I try to make reading more fun and part of my daily routine. This week's stats, we are starting off at whatever's right next to me, and I'm going to start off with today. All right, so we're going to start off with what I read today. Today is Monday, June 8th, also known as my birthday. This is day 8 of the 75 book challenge, first day of week 2, in case we needed that update. The only thing I read, I actually have it here, are the first 3 issues of Barbaric. Barbaric, The Long Death, not the first installment of the series. This is issue 1. I actually got this. Is it gonna... What if I cover myself? Okay, there. Yeah, that's issue 1. I got that yesterday. This is issue 2 and 3 I got like last week or a couple weeks ago. So this is a series I've been really excited to start reading. I was so happy when I finally found volume 1 or issue 1 yesterday and read it. Didn't really understand who anyone was or what anyone was talking about, but I was like, it's a fantasy series. They'll explain it eventually, right? I don't need to know everything that's going on right now. No, actually turns out I should have questioned more why I didn't know anything about what was going on, because this is actually the most recent installment to the Barbaric series. Yeah, so the Barbaric series actually started in 2021. It should start with Barbaric murderable offenses. And this is Barbaric The Long Death, which is, like I said, most recent. Anyways, that was my hour of reading today. I didn't really time myself, but I think that was like an hour. I don't know if I'm gonna read anything else because I started playing the new Forza game and I'm having so much fun. But as far as this, I'll talk about me going into the series at the end, basically. I did have a good time. Like I said, I was just kind of like, this is fantasy. They use words you don't know yet, and there's people you don't know about, and the whole world is going to get introduced eventually. So I was like, whatever, I'll roll with it. So I had a good time. It feels like a very like classic fantasy kind of series. Like the creatures that exist, the magic that exists, the way that people live feels very classic fantasy vibes. So I really love that. It is pretty corny. Like Owen the Barbarian has to say some sort of catchphrase every single time he's about to start fighting someone, and it's like, all right, Owen, do your thing. Like, okay, it's corny as hell, but this is a great series. I can't complain about it. I think the corniness adds to the enjoyment. My whole plan was to talk about, yeah, there's these characters and they already know Owen, but they haven't explained who they are, but I think they'll explain it later. No, it's because I'm reading this at the end of the series before reading anything else. So that's all I have to say. My whole talking point was, I don't know what's going on, and there's all these things that are not being explained, but I'm excited to learn what it is. I'm not going to unless I read the beginning like a normal person. So yeah, that's my update for today. It's officially the last day of my long birthday weekend. I have to go back to work tomorrow. I'm so sad. But I might get more reading done. I just wanted to make sure I got this video out of the way just in case I can't film later. But I got some reading done. So I read the first volume to Love Bullet. I've had my eye on this for a while. I've seen it at the bookstore a bunch of times, and the cover is just so cute. And I saw that it was a new series. I'm pretty sure still volume 1 is the only one that's out. I think October is when volume 2 comes out. And the only thing I knew really is this girl gets turned into a cupid. That's it. After reading it, you find out that people that have died kind of like out of nowhere, young, prematurely, when they're not supposed to, and if they didn't get the chance to fall in love while they were alive, they could possibly get not reincarnated but blessed as by the goddess of love to be a cupid, which will then give them a possible second chance at life if they build up enough good karma by getting other people to fall in love. And the main character is such a like very shy, is always focusing on others, not herself. And that's kind of the vibe that we get from her, and we see when we get kind of a snippet of her like past life while she was alive. Like I said, the only thing I knew was that this was like about cupids, and it's funny because she has a just that instead of a bow and arrow. And it's very funny seeing that. I thought this was gonna be a like slice of life kind of thing about these people, these cupids. I thought maybe it would be kind of like what I wish Cells at Work was gonna be, which no hate to Cells at Work, but didn't enjoy it. But it might be. I don't know what comes after this, but I was in tears at the end of this. It was so heartwarming and touching. Even the beginning, the like little conflict that they're dealing with in the beginning is just so much more like that is there's something there. There's even like little hints at something that they already have come in contact with that they're trying to be wary of. So all that to say, I really enjoyed this. I can't wait for the second volume to come out. The only other thing I read was Phantom Busters Volume 3. I got gifted Volume 1, and then I've read Volume 2 from the library. This is also from the library. This one too. I don't know if I said that. This series is just getting better and better. I'm so excited. This one is, I guess I'll wait until Volume 4, which I believe comes out next month. But I honestly think I'm going to be collecting this series because I'm loving these characters and their friendship with each other. It is so goofy and funny, like throughout everything. No matter what I say about like the seriousness that we see, it is still so silly and funny and ridiculous throughout all of it. But we still get like these instances of just pure sincerity from these people that just bring an actual feeling of connection between these characters, and in turn like is building up to us having a connection with these characters, because right now I don't really feel a connection to them, but I think they're so funny and I can't wait to continue seeing what they get into. I also just absolutely love that we are getting kind of like the background and the past and like the things that are bothering each character. Like Mogari, we see what's going on with him, I think in the last volume, and what he's like currently dealing with and what he's dealt with, at least some of it. And then what do they call him, Zaki? We get him this volume, which I teared up in this volume. We get to see some of his dark past and then some of what's going on currently, and just the way that they approach their friends' problems. They're just so sweet. They're so ridiculous, but they're so sincere, and they clearly hold each other's friendships so close to their heart that it's just I can't wait to keep reading this series. I hope it just continues. I'm pretty sure it's on Shonen Jump like app, so I might just be able to go read it and decide if I want to collect it sooner. I might do that, but we'll see. Okay. Hey, how's it going? It has been days. Today is Sunday. I have not been recording at all since Tuesday. I haven't edited once this entire week, but I have read. So we're going to go through quickly the stats. So for Wednesday, these are the stats. Tuesday, no. Thursday, these are the stats. Friday, Aki. Saturday, this. And today, here. Okay. So let's talk about the reading. I do not remember. This week has not been chaotic, really. This week has been the first week after a few chaotic weeks. So relaxing has been a priority, and that's kind of why reading has been a little out of sorts, and I don't really remember what I read each day. So we're gonna go off of what I remember reading in general this week, outside of Monday and Tuesday. I know a couple days, I'm pretty sure it was like Wednesday and Friday. The only thing I read was a couple chapters of Chojin X. I think I'm reading it at the wrong time because it seems like something I'd really enjoy, but I'm not enjoying it. So that can only mean I'm adding too many things onto my plate to read right now. I'm going to just put it aside for another time where I'm ready to read it. The other thing I read was Absolute Superman. I posted a video. I put it on Shorts here and on Instagram. I actually did it as a trial reel, and it's been doing great, can I say. But I'm not going to do that pun. I greatly enjoyed it. It was something that took me a good amount of time to read. I forgot what day it was that I started it, but I started it before bed, and I read like 2 or 3 issues out of the volume 1 of the hardback, and I had to put it down and ask my partner to talk to me about something happy before I went to bed, because I felt like I had a pit in my stomach. It was not something to read before bed. And it took me a while to read because every time I picked it up, I would start crying. And listen, I will say this specifically Absolute Superman. I read Absolute Batman Volume 1 and 2. I read Absolute Wonder Woman Volume 1. Yes, both of those touch on certain topics. But Absolute Superman, my God, it literally was like just scrolling on Instagram, looking at what's going on in today's world. That's what it felt like reading. And it continuously brought me to tears, not just because of how devastating it was and how the devastation really matched what we're dealing with, but we also got to see Superman, this extremely powerful being, fight against these forces and prevail, and just give a sort of a sense of hope. And that is such a beautiful thing that we get, and that we don't really always get in real life, but that we do get in certain ways. But I think it also just showed in the ways that, especially when we're seeing Superman grow up on Krypton with his parents, and who his parents are people that also question the authority of their planet and have been punished for it and have not gotten that sense of fighting back taken away from them. We see that even though their son starts to fight back in his own way, they love him more for it. And I feel like that is a love that you only get in our communities, where we are dealing with forces that are making it difficult to be who we are. And there is a sense of love you don't get to experience outside of our communities, where we already have a difficult life because of who we are and who we are born as. Yet the people that love us and live with us love us more for doing things that make their lives harder, as in fighting back and speaking out. And like I said, that is a love you only see in these sorts of communities. And I love that how that is depicted in Absolute Superman. Obviously, Absolute Superman is my favorite character of this week. Absolute Superman has been my favorite read. I think it kind of cemented my need to collect everything that is a part of the Absolute series. The only piece that I own is Absolute Batman Volume 2, Abomination. That is all I own. I've read it already too. I don't own anything else. I've gotten everything from the library, so I need to get on buying it because I need to have a collection of everything. Moving on. Another thing I've read is The Caretaker by, I'm not going to try and say his name in case I say it wrong, but this book. I read We Used to Live Here, I think last year in the beginning or the year before. I'm not sure, but I remember that book. I had to stop reading it at night because I was getting so scared. Literally, someone would breathe and I would jump. I couldn't read it at night. It was so good. On top of it being scary and creepy, it was amazing storytelling. It was amazing world building. Not even world building. You don't know what's going on, but it takes you on the ride in such a way that is just so incredible that I didn't need to know what's going on. I don't really know what went on, but I loved it. So I was actually sent this by the publisher, Atria Books. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I'm not sure. They sent me this. Thank you. And I started reading it yesterday. I'm on page 121. I have not read that many pages of a novel in a very long time. I want to say years. I've been very busy. I've gotten a lot of different hobbies since then. Like 3-4 years ago, reading was kind of like my only hobby. Since then, I've gotten a lot of other hobbies. I read 121 pages in 2 days. And after this video, I'm going to sit down and continue reading this book. This is amazing. Literally nothing has happened but paranoia, basically. Yet it is written in a way where you are just like, what's going on? I need to know what's going on. I'm ready for whatever is happening. Another thing that it's about is like OCD, and I'm not going to talk about my connection with that. One, it is kind of triggering. If you're very sensitive to reading about that stuff, it is very triggering. But the way I'm seeing it is very reassuring. Just kind of like, yes, having OCD and having those impulses and those thoughts are very terrifying. And I love that it's written in a horror way because that is how it feels. So I love that. I love the sense of like, this person is making this person is kind of being painted as the one that you should be looking at, but also this person is being shown as disheveled, and then this other person is kind of like two instances of being seen as like something's off, and then this random person gets introduced and you're like, who's that person? You're basically paranoid about every single thing that's going on in the story and every single person that's introduced, but you don't know why. Very interesting. Again, can't I don't know how to say their name, but this author is an author that they publish something, I will buy it immediately. They 2 books in a row. I don't even care how this ends. I am impressed by just the fact that it got me to sit down for hours to just read, which I haven't. That's the whole point of this challenge, has been me trying to figure out how to get myself to do that. This book did it alone. Anyways, my phone's gonna die, the microphone's gonna die, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching this. This is week 2 of the challenge. I cannot believe we actually made it to week 2. I feel like I started this challenge on a whim before I realized if I was ready or not, which I was not. Yeah, I did it. I pushed through. Everyone in the group chat has been doing amazing too. So I think this is going great. I'm so happy I've been doing this. If you're doing this challenge with me, whether you are in the group chat or not, and you're just doing this on your own, comment below what your stats are, what your favorite read of this week is, or what you're most excited to read for next week. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Here's to another week of reading. I'll see you guys later. Have a great week. Bye.